homegrown here, we certainly have a lot of distractions going on ourselves. The trucker protests. I think, what we can see with the Trudeau government, obviously shutting down, now freezing bank accounts, if your political views don't quite align. Certainly a bit of a slippery slope. We're not necessarily going to get into that today.
I do have a quick comment on that. By the way, sorry to interrupt you. So I'm in a couple, these WhatsApp groups the younger kids use. And, one of them is a lot of European-based and American-based traders. And they're all like this morning, 4 or 5 of them have reached out to me and say, hey, what's going on in Canada? So in Canada, if there is or isn't a lot of concern with what happened from the announcement out of Ottawa a couple of days ago, we're like, hey, blow it off, no big deal. Foreign investors do consider it a big deal. So if all of a sudden, again, say you're thinking about investing 200 million capital to build a new building or facility to do this or that, and all of a sudden you think, holy smokes, if the government wanted to, they could immediately come in and shut it down or cut off our bank account, stuff like that. And again, it's irrelevant whether you say, hey, that's a great point or it's stupid. Foreign investors are now talking about that this week. So and I always tell everyone, you always have to view your own country the way that people from outside the country are going to view it. And so this was not a positive policy move by Ottawa this week. It may have made a lot of different groups domestically happy, but outside of Canada, it was not a winner, like not at all. So that's the thing I wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. I think like politically, it seems like there's a lot of pressure. I think there's a lot of friction, a lot of divide. I think approval ratings on the Trudeau side, obviously, again, probably similar to the Biden side. Whether you like them, dislike them, doesn't really matter. But I think it's pretty evident, and I think this is a lot of politics playing out here. Again, anytime in Canada you get again a 30-year inflation print, home prices are going through the roof. Up 20. Nationally, we didn't talk about, but the latest data came out, up 28% year over year on a national basis. That's an all-time record high, growing at 3% per month. Like, yeah, it's not a good situation here. And obviously, seeing more of these policies, it seems like things are kind of unraveling here. So hopefully we can get our shit together, pardon my French, but and
the other thing that I think is the other thing that should frustrate Canadians, like whether or not you think those truckers should go home or not, to me becomes less relevant. I got to throw this in there. The amount of money that is laundered in Canada to buy real estate that Steve may or may not be selling to these people, and the amount of money that's run out of British Columbia that's selling fentanyl, and the money laundering that's related to that, and the thousands of people that have died from fentanyl overdoses that is directly related to the money laundering. And the fact that basically zero has been done with respect to financial crimes. In fact, financial crime units have been mothballed in British Columbia. These are federally mandated RCMP. This idea that that they're after, like it's even if you think that all these truckers should go home right now, you must recognize how cynical this financial crimes angle is. And frankly, I think we should, as Canadians, should demand better, whether it's a RICO Act in the United States or an IRS equivalent with teeth. That to me is that's my 2 cents on that. It's not okay. It's not okay to only attack your political opponents, right or wrong. Again, right or wrong. Just let's do something about financial crimes. That's my last bit on that.
No, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head here. But I mean, I think it's a good way to wrap it up. We'll obviously be monitoring these geopolitical events and how they pertain to everyday Canadians' lives. That's what the show is all about, right? It's just kind of having an extensive dialogue on what this means for the everyday person, and ultimately how to protect your hardworking capital, because that's what the show is all about. So as always, we appreciate the support. Again, if you can share this episode with at least one friend, just to continue to grow the community. We always appreciate your love and support. And as always, we'll see you next week.